All right, we're about 12 hours removed from the injury and the moment that shook New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Westchester, South Florida. You name it, there's Jets fans everywhere. And
The world, the world.
one of my
Shook up the
favorite,
world.
one of my favorite is this guy right here. We had him on in the summer, and we talked about his Jets fandom. It goes deep, and we want the raw reaction. Hank Azaria, welcome back to the season with Peter Schrager.
Thanks, I guess. Yeah, it's great to be here, Peter. Really great to be here.
Great reason. How you feeling?
Genuinely, still kind of in shock, like a shock, actual shock, like a life event shock. I was just telling your producer Aaron that there's certain Jets, Mets, Knicks. Okay, there's certain moments in that journey. Mostly it's comical and it's sad sack, and you love the team, and you know the aura that hangs over them is not great, and you live with it. And there are times when, though, it's not really funny at all. The Mets collapse in '07 was not funny. Not fun. Actually depressed me for a couple of weeks.
I was there. That was against the Marlins in the final game of the season, and I remember I was there. Unbelievable collapse.
Yeah, that whole 3 week collapse was brutal. And last year's Met semi-collapse was somewhat reminiscent. This is, though, up there with, there's certain moments, like, Charles Smith not being able to make that layup against the Jordan Bulls, right? They just stay in your mind. And, this might be the granddaddy of them all. This might
Crazy.
be, yeah.
Let's go through it. I mean, because we were texting at 4 a.m. this morning. You and I were both awake, and you were the first person I thought of when this thing's going down because we talked about it over the summer. But, the build-up of the summer is one thing. The building last night, it's almost, if you look at it, it's like a ghastly joke of Rodgers coming out in the dark with the lights on 9/11 with the American flag, and he never completed a pass.
No, you couldn't. I mean, you know this old story about Red Fox, Peter? Red Fox, with Sanford and Son.
Sure.
And, that theme music was... Okay. That would when he played Vegas as a stand-up, that would play him out. That was his intro music. But this is famous in show business. We parodied it on The Simpsons one time. Apparently one night there was no audience for whatever reason. There was 3 people out there. And they played, ladies and gentlemen, Red Fox. And he comes out. He looks out at the audience. He goes, 3 people. I'm not playing a show for no 3 damn people. And walked off. And they played his music. That's all. When they carted Aaron off, I heard the Red Fox music in my mind. I'm like, this is just insane. You run out with a flag,
when Grandpa
and
Simpson walks into Moe's with the hat and walks right out. Is that what we're thinking? Like that?
I think it was like that. That might be when we used it. But it's just absurd. It's crazy. And then I was thinking because I was half expecting him to get hurt this year. He's not a young man.
Yeah.
I was like, if this happened week 8, would that be better? And you know what? The answer would be yes. It would have been better. At least we would have gotten to see what was what. I mean, it would have been almost exactly like Brett Favre, who went 8-3 before he got hurt for us. But I don't, Peter. It's just,
I know. I have a lot of Jets fans, and one of them texted me I'm just convinced we can't have nice things.
Yeah, I texted you that too.
Yeah.
That's really, no, you start to kind of believe it. I don't, actually Mike Puma wrote a book about the Mets, and I wrote the foreword, and I wrote about being Mets, Jets, Knicks, and how it's actually made me quite a negative person. It really has. It's affected me genuinely. In business, trying to get projects made in show business is very hard. And at the first sign of trouble, I'm always like, well, that's it. Whenever, it's not going to happen. And my partners are always like, why are you so negative? I'm like, because I'm a Mets, Jets, and Knicks fan. That's why. And they laugh, and I say, no, I'm not kidding.
That's serious.
I'm absolutely true. I have come to expect Aaron Rodgers outcomes like that. That's it. We're done. Forget it.
Not to rub salt in the wounds here, but the thing that no one else was talking about that the Jets coaches, who I speak with often, were saying is that Rodgers would be there till 11 o'clock at night, working with random backup running backs on getting the offense down. I reported this on Fox's pregame on Sunday. He did something called a firing line exercise where he would line up all the young players and they'd go through every hand signal that he could possibly do, and they had to know it. And if they got it wrong, they had to keep going until they got it right. Like, he was so invested in texting with Salah this morning, and it's just like you feel for the fans, you feel for us, you can pity us. You feel for Rodgers.
Actually, I had a crazy journey with this because I disliked Aaron Rodgers by his end of the time with Green Bay. Between all that craziness that was going on there, and then the vaccination stuff, and then some other stuff, right? I was like, man, and being a Hollywood creature as I am, like, you know what you don't need in most situations is diva energy coming in, like old man, especially old man diva energy. It's like I was like, please just get me Derek Carr, please. It's just a nice daddy presence in there, a nice young fella who's going to be a good daddy and going to work really hard. And I have a feeling that Derek Carr was going to really improve with a change of scenery, which we'll see if he does. And then, man, Rodgers completely won me over, just because I didn't think he'd even show up for OTAs. Right. I didn't think he'd work with the young receivers. I mean, even before Hard Knocks, giving back all that money and everything he did. And I'm like, I tweeted, whatever I put out, whatever you young people do on social, I put out this thing of, Jets, he's going to do this. He's going to recreate Joe Namath for us when he runs off the field. I just totally bought in. I fell in love with the guy, and I was happy for him, happy for the Jets, happy for Salah. I was even happy for Woody Johnson, which takes a lot for me to get happy for that guy.
We talk about the humor and the gassiness of it. Like, they go to the box and Woody's wearing this ridiculous Sauce Gardner chain, and it's just like, that is so Jets. Like, he doesn't take off the chain. He still has the ridiculous chain on, and he's still caught up in and it's the Jets.
It's same old Jets, man. And bottom line is, you'll look back at this, right, and you'll just say, same old Jets. Yeah.
It's fun while it lasted. Now, here's the thing. There is a whole season to play. You did beat the Bills last night. I'm not silver lining guy in this. It's almost secondary topic that they won, but can Zach Wilson just hold the fort down and rely on the run game and the defense, and can we still be a playoff team?
I don't know. We'll see. I mean, that sucks too. It's like if Zach was going to – feels like Zach needed a year or two, didn't he, if he was going to turn into anything? And now he's thrown back into the fire, which will probably end his career because he's probably not ready for it. There's my, sunny Jets outlook coming to the fore again. But, here's the thing about being Jets, Mets, Knicks, when you predict doom and gloom, you're usually right. And, now I guess we'll really see. To me, he kind of looked the same last night. Like, he played well, but I've seen him play that well. But I don't know who else you bring in. Nothing else seems realistic right now. And I guess I'm a poker player. I was playing poker last night while this is going on. To me, Zach is an inside straight draw, meaning 4 cards you're outs with 2 cards to come. That's a 16% chance. That's about how I feel about Zach. He's an inside straight draw.
It's an incredible analogy. It's incredible. I'll leave you on this. You think back to the pregame, you've got Timberlake on the sidelines, you got Jake Paul being
Sorry, it's loud here, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's all good. You got all these luminaries, celebrities. Did you, in a little bit of a glimmer of your Jets' cynical mind, think this is a little bit much before we get this game going? Let's just play football?
Oh, I felt the hubris of this for a while. I really have. I mean, all the Super Bowl talk, and I'm like, guys, please just... And I've been saying to anyone who'll listen, I'll really just be happy if we play well over the first 5-6 games. I mean, honestly, I want to go to the playoffs, but I really, let's calm down here for a second. Rodgers usually starts slow, and he's not young, and I mean, so yeah, it was a lot of hubris, and I honestly feel embarrassed, literally embarrassed.
All right,
I feel stupid.
There is you think about buying in after knowing, and you're coarsened with this, and this is what being a Jet fan is, and yet you let yourself get excited again. I feel that.
Look, it's even worse. I missed it. I guess mercifully, I had a school function. Sorry, it's loud. I had a school function, and I got to the game I watched it with my poker buddies the game last night. Got there 10 minutes late. I walk in smiling, and everybody's looking at me like, You don't know, do you? I'm like,
You hadn't seen?
no, I didn't see it in real time. I walked in like 5-10 minutes after it happened, and everybody's like, no, what? And I was like, and I thought they were, poker guys. I thought they were kidding me. I thought they were joking. And then I saw it was all too real. And it was the saddest part was like a buddy of mine a couple of buddies just loved ribbing me about, what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen with the Jets and the Mets. And even those guys didn't have the heart to give me crap about it. They were like actually looking at me with sympathy. I'm like, I think that's the worst part of all this is you looking at me like you feel bad for me.
It's the first time, like Patriots and Bills and Dolphins fans are like feeling bad for the Jets fans because even they can appreciate the feeling of letdown and just.
It's horrible. I mean, at least Giant fans can't say nothing today.
What was worse, winning and losing Rodgers for the season, or losing 40-0 on national TV while you're wearing a blue shirt doing a blue out?
I'd honestly be more embarrassed by that Giant loss, personally.
Man, I feel you. I feel like you're the voice of thousands and thousands of fans, and Jets fans. They're all over LA now. They're all over Florida. Like I meant that when I led into it. Like New York fans are everywhere, and this one I felt like reverberated throughout the country, and you're the voice of it right now on the pod.
That said, I mean, it was a gutty win. I got to give him credit. I mean, that was amazing. And it's just, but how well that defense played. Because last year they were great, but 4 turnovers. They didn't get that many turnovers last year, And it was amazing to see them bust it up like that and get that gutty win. Who knows? Maybe, look, football is a crazy thing, man. Stranger things have happened. Who knows what could happen this season?
So I was talking to coaches this morning from the Jets, texting them, and the real takeaway for me is like, all right, if Hackett had won, or if Todd Downing had won, or if Saleh had won with Rodgers, it's a great story. If these guys can do it with this team, without Rodgers after the deflation, now that's a really great story, and it almost adds another chapter. So there is a silver lining, cool wrinkle to this. If they could put it together, it's almost like, hey, we won one for the Gipper, but we also did it for ourselves.
Yeah, it was impressive. You got to admit that was demoralizing, and they
down 10,
and they came back and won that game. I mean, that's something. That is, proud of those guys on 9/11. I mean, that was gutty.
I know. Hank Azaria, we love you. Thank you for coming on. I know you're busy, and obviously this morning is not a fun and happy topic for Jets fans, and yet I felt like we need.
Can I share on a personal note? I just got a haircut, okay? And the girl cut my hair, the young lady cut my hair, and she asked me, "Are you a senior?" So that was like insult to injury today.
Good morning, Hank.
Yeah, I said, yes, I'm an old Jets fan is what I am.
That's it. On that note, we love you, man. Thank you for joining.